Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Rooster Teeth.
Oh, that
Was
was
that
it.
it?
I thought there was more.
I thought it was about to bust out in some kind of an Axel Foley type thing.
It was I guess I should have judged it more than based on the first 3 or 4 seconds of it.
Those were the only 3 or 4 seconds. Right?
It was the entire
Your
thing.
preview was the entire song. You didn't even realize it.
Yeah, thanks, Mike77.
You son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. What's up, bitches?
How long was the one that you turned down? Because you were just playing one and then rejected it.
It was like 2 minutes long.
Oh, goodness.
So
That's why I was scrambling to try to get a replacement for it. I was like, okay, this one's good.
Can you tell the audience then, Gus, what is the proper amount of time for a Drunk Tank theme song?
I think 30 seconds is good.
Griffin, what's the optimal length?
Why are you asking me? It's not my show.
Okay.
I think 30 seconds is good. It's nice and to the point.
There you go.
Yes,
Jiggling.
I got it.
Thank you.
So yesterday, we took some headshots for the company,
Yeah, we did.
and we took them in the brightest sunlight possible.
Yeah, we did.
Brandon could not figure out in his headshot why he couldn't button his shirt, his button-down shirt. And so
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
he
funny.
had it on inside out.
This is for our otaku teeth photo.
That's awesome.
That'll be one for the link dump.
Yeah, make sure you send me that one. Man, speaking of Brandon,
What?
he came in yesterday very, very, I would say agitated to correct some of our inaccuracies regarding Star Trek in the last podcast. And for the first time ever, I understood why I got punched in high school.
For the first time, it was like suddenly it dawned on you.
It was like it dawned on me. I was like, I'm the guy that has to regulate here. Like, I'm going to have to take care of this. He was just going on and on about Star Trek and inaccuracies.
In high school, you were like, technically, Vato, that's not... Ow!
Actually, getting back to the headshots, the worst part is that not only did they make it have his face like the sun and then try to take a picture, they made us feel bad about it afterwards. They're like, well, it took us 20 minutes to Photoshop out those wrinkles.
Did they really tell you
Yeah,
that?
they're like, we've been working on this, but you had a lot of wrinkles in your face. I was like, well, I was squinting. Jesus.
Also, it was like surprise headshot day.
No,
No, they
the
didn't mention
headshots
this.
were announced.
Were they?
Yeah.
I was not aware.
Well, you should read your email occasionally.
I don't. I'm not going to. You can't make me.
Yeah, the other day,
Just so cool for email.
Jeff came up to me and was like, hey, have you sent me the shipping info for that convention we're going to? I was like, yeah, I sent it 2 weeks ago. He's like, oh. And I was like, did you look at the hotels I sent you also? He's like, oh, I didn't get that email. I was like, I sent it on the 14th. I see it right here. He's like, oh, yeah, I do have it.
Yeah, look, man, I get a lot of email.
Oh, okay, so now who's popular?
Things have only gotten... No, it's not. I mean, it's just... we got the... Achievement Hunter receives a lot of email. Mm-hmm. So, it's hard to keep up, man. It's really hard to keep up. You don't understand.
I noticed you're not saying you actually process any of that email at all. You're just
try.
saying you get a
I
lot
try.
and then it's hard to keep
I
up.
tried.
That's all you're saying.
I sat at home last night until midnight, and I went through about 150 horse emails. Those take time, because you got to download the maps and check them out. And it's a lot of work.
It sounds like a rough life.
It's not. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's why some emails get fall through the cracks.
Just thinking of somebody
It's
who...
just the ones from Gus, I guess.
Just mine, apparently. All the horse ones get processed because horse comes out just fine.
No, I'm about 2,000 behind on horse.
I will admit sometimes when somebody sends out an email and I see that Matt has already replied to it, I don't read either yet. I figure if Matt's replied to it, that's good enough. There you go. File it. It goes into I have a folder called Biz. Biz goes right in there. That's all there is to it.
Do you think if you used the entire word business, you would take it more seriously?
No, I don't think so. It's like I'm fast mover. I'm like, Jeff, I got so many, it's hard to keep up.
That's right.
It's better than bidness.
Business.
That's like the less serious emails.
There's so much business going on. How much email do you think you receive in a day? Individual pieces of email.
Individual pieces of mail, are we including spam or non-spam?
Just let's say something that you're expected to read and then respond to.
I'm going to go I'm going to say about 200 to 250. But that's mostly fails of the week submissions, horse submissions, and tip line mails. Mm-hmm. You cut that out, and it's more like 75.
Yeah, that's what I think I'm sitting at the 80 mark, where I
Yeah.
have to process and reply to about 80 emails. And I've always wondered, like, a guy working at a company 50 years ago, he had a phone on his desk, and that was it. He had a wooden tray with an inbox on it. Some dude came by with a cart and put stuff in the inbox, physical, like, mail inbox on his desk. How many people do you think that guy talked to in a day or interacted with in a day?
God, I don't know.
If it was five, would that be like a crazy day?
Yeah.
I bet, though, that you probably got a lot more phone calls back then. And that was, being on the phone is way more irritating
I
than
bet your
answering an email.
secretary.
And
got
that
a
guy,
lot of
right,
phone
that
calls.
guy had a secretary who did stuff for him.
That
And-
screened them, yeah.
And they had like a secretary pool where they cranked out all the letters and all the correspondence. There would be like 40 women in a room with typewriters.
Yeah. I managed to only send 27 emails yesterday. I feel like that's an accomplishment.
Oh, good for you. That means 112 people went unanswered.
But none of those were Jeff.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, speaking of 50 years ago, I was on Xbox Live last night, and I was looking. There was just like it was just on in the background while Griffin and I were doing something or other, and I noticed that there was an ad for some new car. I think it was a Chevy Cruiser, but it was Cruzer.
Yeah.
It's Cruise.
The Cruise, yeah.
The Cruise. And I got to thinking, like, that's totally normal to me that they took a name and spelled it wrong intentionally to be hip. But, like, you think, like, even 25 years ago, if Chevy would have come out with a car that was misspelled for effect, they would have been laughed off the planet, right?
I'm trying to think. There's got to be one.
I would think so, too, but I can't come up with one.
I know. I'm trying to think of the first one like that. I know the Aztec had the K instead of a C, the Pontiac, and that was like 10 or 11 years ago.
But that really got me thinking last night, like, I don't know, like my first car was a Ford Escort pickup truck, and then I had a Buick Century, you know. My parents had a Sunbird. But I can't think of any kind of like wacky spelling.
I could argue that the GTO is a misspelling of got.
You could?
They even called that car the Goat, actually.
Did they really?
That's
Yeah.
the nickname for the GTO.
Yep.
I can't think of one. I can't even think of like. I mean, there's ones that he's made up. Like the Edsel was not named after anything, right?
You had stuff like a Nova, but that's about as wacky as it got, right? There was the Volkswagen Thing that was spelled correctly.
Yeah, but those
Well,
are
Nova
words.
isn't spelled.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nova's a word.
Yeah, no, I know it's a word, but it's a little out there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
it's in
You're
space.
out there.
like
Yeah.
Lumina
Yeah,
or Corolla.
yeah.
Those don't mean anything at all.
Chevette.
Chevette,
Camry.
Camry.
None of this stuff makes any sense.
Yeah.
We had like
But
Mustang.
they're not misspelled.
Well, how would you know? Like, what the fuck is Camry? I mean, what is a Camry?
When you make
anyway?
up the word, you're allowed to spell it however you want.
Yeah, I had when my kid was 5, he asked me, he was learning to read, and he was asking me just coming up with letter combinations. Like he said, what does JUP spell? And I said, that doesn't spell anything. He goes, what? He goes, how does that not spell anything? Because he'd go through like RED, what does that spell? You know, and I can't ORE, what does that spell? And I gave him the words, and he said, like JUP, what is that? And I said, that's not anything. That's not a word. He goes, it has to be. I said, why does it have to be a word? He goes, well, why would they make 4-letter words if they hadn't used up all the 3-letter words? I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
That's a really good question. Why did we move on to 4-letter words if we hadn't used up all the combinations?
Absolutely.
What a highly inefficient language we have, Gus.
Horrible.
Well, it just wasn't ever. I mean, it started off like spoken, and then, you know, letters came later.
Still, do you think there would have been some guy at some point that would have been like, "Hey guys, we don't need 4 syllables. We got nobody's used jupe yet. Come on."
Yeah.
It would be a lot
Well, at
easier
least
on
it's
everybody.
Better than German, where they just like clump words together, and if they need a new word, they just add on more at the end.
Yeah, and they end up with
Yeah.
those super long compound words.
Yeah, they're like, why do we call this Schadenfreude when we could call it jupe?
Or Zoll.
Save everybody. Yeah, exactly. Save
would
everybody
actually- it would
fucking
be-
hand cramps when they're fucking writing out letters in long form.
It would be Yupa, actually.
There you go.
So you're saying that language came from spoken language. So what
Well,
is-
I mean, I think originally, right? Like, I mean, I don't know anything
Yeah,
about it.
I'm
but
sure. Like when you're developing language, you're trying to talk to vocalize it.
Yeah.
and then later, after it's matured, then you start writing it.
Gus, let's be honest. Nobody in this room is going to develop a language. It's like we're all past
I
that
meant
point.
the indefinite pronoun you, not you specifically.
What is no? You and Matt were telling me about a language that was made up, like created by like recently created.
People are always doing stupid stuff like
Yeah,
that.
but what was the language? Do you remember
Pig
the
Latin.
name of
I
it?
have
No.
no idea.
Pig Latin is not a language.
Wasn't Sanskrit created like that?
Was it?
Sanskrit is really, really old.
I think it was jupe.
Jupanese.
No, there's some kind of like modern language that was like created combining like Latin roots with some. You were telling me. I swear we were having this conversation the other day.
I think Matt was saying that, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's always something like that where people are
Esperanto.
have a bright idea
Yeah, that's it.
that they're going to change something fundamental in everyone else's life. Like, do you remember when Swatch came up with the new time?
Yeah, it was. Didn't they call it internet time? No, no, it wasn't internet
Beats.
time. Beats. That's what. Yeah. That's
And-
stupid.
There was like 10 beats in a megabeat and 10 megabeats in a day,
Something like that.
which was a
You know what, though?
beat.
We make fun of them now, but had that worked, we'd all be wearing swatches right now.
That's true. If we all adopted new time.
This podcast would be 26 beats long, and everybody would know it.
That'd be funny as an experiment, just to get like your group of friends to like follow the new time. See how easy it is to adapt if you have your friends behind you.
Yeah, with this group, it'd be everybody's 5 beats late everywhere
Yeah.
they go. Has this group ever shown up anywhere on time at the same time?
You're a hectobeat late. Where the hell were you?
Extra beat.
Do we even care anymore? It's
No.
like a lot of times, like Gus is probably the worst offender of this. It's At what point is Gus late, or Gus has just stood us up and he's not coming?
Yeah. Fuck it. What does it matter?
How does that process work in your head? Like when we're all
It's-
getting together somewhere and you know you're not going to go, Gus.
I don't say anything to avoid the bitching. It's easier to deal with the post missed event bitching than the pre I'm not going to the event
Yeah,
bitching.
because there's still a chance they might try to encourage
Yeah,
you to go.
if you get the pre-bitching, you're also going to get the post-bitching.
That's a good
if
point.
If you lie, then you just get the post-bitching.
You know what I've done to counteract that? I double bitch up later.
You know what? I got to say, out of anybody I know, you probably spend more time concentrating on how to eliminate annoyances to you than
Yeah.
anyone else. You put a lot of thought into everything you do.
I don't know if
to
I go that
eliminate
far.
your annoyance. No,
I do try to minimize annoyances, but I don't think it's like a big part of my life or anything.
I do.
It's all about going home and playing WoW.
You don't have like social anxiety. You have like social psychopathy. You actively want to destroy social interactions
that'd
with
be
other
awesome.
people.
When Gus and I used to live together, it was the worst because he and I both, speaking of social anxiety, we both hate to do stuff like answer the door or order
Call
the
people.
pizza. Yeah, or call or talk on the phone at any point. And so it would be like it would be a fight over who was going to order pizza. And thank God the internet helped that out.
Yeah.
And then it was a fight who would answer the front door. And sometimes
Yeah.
one of us would
Give
run into
the
the
money.
hallway and just stand there, and the other person would have to go, fuck.
Yeah, that's what you do now. At
Yeah,
the
but
house.
you fall for it every time.
Yeah.
No, because I eventually would like to have my pizza.
Yeah, Gus and I
You know,
would
this
have
Jeff
be
does
a
that
waiting
too.
game.
He'll do it in the store. Like he will not ask where something is in a store. Like if we go to Home Depot and
Yeah.
we need to find something, he would rather wander around for an hour looking for it
Well-
rather than ask somebody.
Well, with me, I want to make the effort to look for it before I ask.
I do something better than that. If Griffin is finally like, I'm going to ask, I'm just going to go ask the guy. I'll go, okay, and then I'll just walk away from her and go to a different aisle
and then
find her
then
later.
I find the fucking thing, and then I gotta go find Jeff because he's hiding.
That's really funny.
I do
you-
the same thing.
Did you just motion for him to turn me down?
You sounded a little hot. Sorry.
No problem.
I asked him to turn down your hotness. You're too hot for the mic. Yeah, no, I do the same thing. A big part of my life that I think I miss out on is that I never sell anything. I buy things a lot, but I don't sell the things on the back end because I don't want to deal with selling to somebody. Like Craigslist is a nightmare to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Like even putting something out on the curb and saying, "Hey, I've got this thing available. Come get it." I just know that person's going to be a part of my life for far too long.
I totally
Yeah,
understand.
that's why I don't know if you've noticed, but I have a receiver and a laptop under my desk that I've been meaning to put on Craigslist for like a month and a half, but I just can't bring myself to do it because I don't want to deal with the person that's going to buy it.
Yep.
If anybody wants to buy Gus's receiver or laptop and not make eye contact with them while you're doing it, just email sales@roosterteeth.com.
He'll set up a meeting which you won't show up to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you I'll be there.
And then Griffin can bitch about it later.
See, it's perfect. Everyone has a role. See, everyone has something to do. It validates everyone's existence
There
here.
you go.
No, but there's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, that where I just don't want to deal with the situation. So it's a perfectly normal part of life, and I'm just like, I don't want to like go through that social interaction to deal with it, and so I miss out on it. Returning things is another thing too. I just don't want to go through the trouble of like shipping something back. I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. Almost everything I buy now, I buy from Amazon because I have that free shipping service. Mm-hmm. And so the idea, like, we got my kid. He asked for a chocolate fountain for Christmas. It was the number one thing on his Christmas list. He talked about it for 6 months.
Where did he
Chocolate
see
fountain.
a chocolate fountain in the first place?
He saw it in a he saw it I think in an iPhone game or an iPad game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was like in one of those like where you run the diner, and one of the items you could buy to decorate was a chocolate fountain. And he's like, "That is amazing." I said, "You know, those really exist." And it's immediately one of those things you wish you could take back.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I'm going to ask for Santa. He's 5. And he's like, I got to get a chocolate fountain. So we got the chocolate fountain, and it was broken out of the box.
Oh, no.
His
You can
number
always
one present.
Take him to visit the one at Whole Foods.
Is there one there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like a whole chocolate area, and they have the chocolate fountain, and you can ask for things to be dipped.
And they'll dip it right there in front of you.
I think he wants to just like
Stick his
his
head in
hands
it.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that chocolate's super hot, by the way.
What is melted?
It is. I don't think it's super, super hot, but
Yeah,
I don't know if you want your kid sticking his finger.
Chocolate has a low melting point. It's probably right around 100 degrees, I bet.
I don't know.
I would imagine that if I'm at Whole Foods, I don't want my kids sticking his head in their chocolate fountain. I'd be buying 4 pounds of chocolate.
They probably don't want that either.
They have it
You
behind.
should take him to the Bellagio, to that crepe place that has that giant
Get you
chocolate
ticket to the
fountain.
Bellagio.
Yeah, I take a 5-year-old there. Yeah, in Vegas, they have the...
It's like the world's biggest chocolate fountain or something, right?
Yeah, but I mean, how many are there?
Yeah.
You know? I know what you're talking about, though. It starts like 30 feet up, and it's like bowls with funnels, like with a spout on the bowl.
Yeah.
And these little channels, and it runs through, and there's like 3 different kinds of chocolate that run through this thing.
It's pretty crazy.
Crisscrossing through the place.
I can see Griffin booking the fucking flight right now in her head.
I'm going to jump in.
Is that our first swear word for the day?
What's
We were
that?
running so clean.
Well.
Leave it to Jeff to ruin it.
I actually get messages from kids. You know, there's that one kid on the site who counts all of your swear words, and he makes the pie chart. He sent me a list of swear words I don't say enough the other day.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, you should mention some of these because you're deficient on these." On the side.
What were your deficient swear words?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Man, I developed a stammering problem there for a
Yeah.
second.
Whatever they weren't in my normal repertoire. So
Anybody watch the championship games from this weekend from the NFL?
no.
I missed them both. I was on the road.
Well, for those of you who care about such a thing, the Super Bowl looks like it's going to be the Steelers versus the Packers.
I did read a report saying this could be the largest money making Super Bowl of all time.
I would imagine, honestly, that the NFL was crying a little bit over the fact that they didn't have a New York versus Chicago Super Bowl because those are the two teams that lost. And, you know, those are two pretty big markets.
Yeah.
I mean, just if you have some interest in those or people that live around those areas, I mean, that could be a huge one.
Isn't every Super Bowl the biggest money making Super Bowl ever? Like, I would think it would just grow. There's like Super Bowls that decline.
Yeah, I don't know. They made a point of saying that like because of those two teams, this will be like the biggest Super Bowl of all time, and there's going to be record profits to be made.
Really?
But what you're saying does make sense.
Yeah, it seems like it would always
with
grow.
inflation and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who are not familiar with those two teams, they are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yep.
Not exactly two of the biggest markets. I understand they have a lot of history in the NFL, but do you know enough about international sports like soccer to say like what would be the
Do you know?
equivalent
Do you
of
know
that?
anyone who's ever been to Green Bay?
No, I think it's just Milwaukee, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like New England Patriots is just it's Boston's football team,
Yeah,
but they
but
call it New
Eponymous
England.
Yeah, but
on the
Green-
site lives in Wisconsin.
Yeah, but Green Bay's a city.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of like the way Round Rock is a city.
I don't know about
It's a
that.
suburb of Austin,
I don't know. I think Green Bay. I don't think it's attached to Milwaukee.
or like New England is a city, but it's really Boston.
I'm looking it up now.
By the way, yeah, I feel like I know enough about international sports.
Right.
Like a big game would be like Man United versus AC Milan. Does that sound about right, Gus?
But aren't those
Yeah.
aren't those huge teams now?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be like that'd be the equivalent today of like Patriots versus
Saints.
two big teams now. I mean, these are classically popular teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were big in the 70s. You know,
Green Bay's 114 miles away from Milwaukee.
I'll tell you who wouldn't be on that list: the Tottenham Spurs, Gavin's favorite team.
one time when I
He
was
hates
in
when you make fun of his team.
I was in the UK, and it was the night that Arsenal played Manchester United.
Sure,
That was a very fun night at the bar.
big game.
Yeah. You know, people in the UK fight a lot. I did not know that. The UK is actually the only place in the world where I have stepped over a pool of blood outside of a pub.
It's the origin of the hooligans, right? I mean, the UK. That's like their claim to soccer violence.
You know, Griffin and I were in London last year during the World Cup finals. And we actually thought, let's go to a bar and watch the game.
We couldn't even get inside, like,
The game. I'm going to say the game started at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and we were walking around at 9 a.m., and all the bars had signs up, sorry, no vacancies, everything's booked up, can't walk in the bar. Like, you couldn't walk into a bar at 9 a.m. that day.
Wow.
People just went and camped out for like 10, 12 hours. And they had people that would go and just a little pub, like we were in the night before, and I'd be like, so you're going to expect a lot of people for the game tomorrow? And they'd be like, oh yeah, we're booked up. And they're like, what does that mean? They're like, people reserve tables. They have to put like 200 quid down to reserve a table or whatever. And they've done it months and months and months in advance. And so we watched the game in the hotel because there's nowhere else in England to watch it.
Yeah, when England got eliminated almost immediately, those people who put all that money down to reserve a table must have been really pissed off.
Well, there's no English people in London, so they
Oh,
probably
it was
don't
all people cheering for other.
care. Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Is it all just a bunch of people from other countries?
Yeah. Pretty much.
It's like like any other major city where it just
It's a
feels
big
like
mix.
There's lots and lots of people from all over.
What is the most diverse city you've ever been in?
London's pretty diverse. Oh gosh, I don't know.
Last time I was in Toronto, I was really surprised by how diverse that city is.
Really?
Yeah, really, really surprised.
I think London or Paris for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Canada. I thought Canada was all, French people and other kinds of white people, essentially.
I'll tell you a city that's not very diverse. That's Austin.
No, I'll
Not the
agree
most
with that.
diverse city in the world.
Well, I mean, we're about half white, half Hispanic, though. So, I mean, in terms of like,
You think it's that much Hispanic? I think
no,
it's
I think San
it's
Antonio is
less.
more like that. What do you think the breakdown in San Antonio is?
San Antonio's probably 60-40 Hispanic.
Yeah, 60% Hispanic.
Yeah.
That's about an hour south of us. So, yeah, I mean, you could say it's not diverse, but it's not homogeneous either.
No, but it's like 50-50, and then Monty, essentially.
I have a new dog.
I saw that.
He's
Lincoln.
sleepy. He's sitting here sleeping. He had surgery the other day, so he's here at the office recuperating with me.
Poor guy. We also have another dog. You and I like to make the same mistake around the same time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the dog wasn't my choice, but the dog turned out good.
You know,
We-
the dog
we-
wasn't my choice either.
We've
but-
been so envious of the fact that he's not peeing on the carpet right now.
Oh, yeah. He's just laying there. He's old. I got an older dog, though. You guys got a brand new puppy.
Yeah.
You people are maniacs.
Yeah, that dog's
He's already half that size.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
pretty
about
big.
she is about 26 or 27 pounds.
Yeah, I think she's
11
she's
weeks
grown.
old. It's crazy.
that's a huge dog.
Yeah, she's going to be about 160, they say.
Crazy.
Yeah. They being the scientists.
A scientist. Your dog already made your dog Bernie already made an escape from the office once.
He did. That was kind of creepy. We actually had to use our cameras. We have security cameras all over the place. We had to, like, track and see which way he went. And it was really weird because he went to the this place next door where they sell things to put your marijuana in. That's how the business was described.
And microscopes to look at your marijuana.
Yeah. That's how it was described. And I even made the joke. I said, what do y'all do here? They said, we make jars and other things to put your marijuana in. And I made a joke. Oh, you mean like you make jars and things and people can just happen to put marijuana in it? She goes, no, they're for marijuana.
Do they have a storefront?
What?
No, it's just internet sales.
Oh, okay.
They were featured in Weeds or something like that?
Yeah, they
And
did some set decoration in the series Weeds. And I
Good
guess
for
that
them.
was their like breakout moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. People that like drugs watch Weeds?
They also did it on Seventh Heaven, which seems weird. Really weird endorsement. Yeah, so they had him and they took care of him, and he's a very happy dog and very happy to see other people.
Was he wearing like a Rasta beret when he came back?
No, he was fine.
No,
He was fine. He could even walk a straight line and everything. He was good.
Something we noticed about our dog. She does not like to take walks, which is the first time I've ever had a dog like that. So we have to pick her up and carry her down to the end of the road and set her down, and then she'll run back to the house because she does not like leaving the house.
Why do you force her to take walks if she doesn't want to then?
Because she
needs to go to the
destroys the house if she doesn't get the energy out, but she won't walk anywhere.
I figured out a solution last night. I pick her up and I walk her down the block, take a right to the next block, and then if I spin in a circle 5 times and I set her down, she doesn't know where the fuck she is. And so she'll just follow me. That's the only way I can get that dog to take a walk.
What you should do is, like what Griffin said, is you should take her to like the end of the block, but take her in a wagon. Then when you get to the end of the block, you just sit in the wagon and put the leash on her and let her pull you back to the house.
It's not a bad idea.
It's like an extra workout and you get a free ride. I
Eventually.
saw some dude going through our neighborhood the other day. He was on a skateboard and he had like kind of a big dog leashed and the dog was running and the dude was like getting pulled while on the skateboard and he was going down the street screaming, "Woo!" like at the top of his lungs. It was awesome.
That is awesome.
Have you seen that guy in town that has the cat that rides on his shoulders while he bikes around?
Yeah.
Like he rides a bicycle and he has this cat that just like perches. Oh, his cat's named Lucky, I think.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he just runs around town and the cat just hangs out on his shoulders. It's awesome.
You know what the stupidest thing about that is? First of all, it's so stupid that the guy does that. But I know he picks up girls with that.
Oh,
I
I'm
know,
sure.
I know,
God.
I know that works. I know how dumb that is, but I know he picks up girls
Dude,
for him.
I talked to him.
Tell you, my dog is such a chick magnet. That's all it takes is a cute animal. Jesus
I was telling
Christ.
Joel that. Yeah.
He really, seriously, the other day you were working and I went out to like coffee with
Yeah,
Nelly.
and you sent me a text like, "Oh my God, there's so many girls talking to me. This dog is."
It was like 9 hot chicks came up just to talk to the dog. It was great. It was awesome.
How do you work yourself into that?
You
mix?
you get like a 5-year-old or like a cute little blonde 5-year-old kid and then like a cute puppy and that's it.
It's
like-
like,
it's
the
like-
more attached
it's like-
you are, like the more
It's like taking a ticket on the Vagina
You
Express.
say that like you're so surprised to hear that, Griffin. What an
It's like,
amazing
oh,
thing.
he's obviously a wonderful husband and father. I've got to get in on that.
I was trying to get
How
the
can
dog.
I make that mine?
I want to get the dog and the kid out of the house. You know, you don't want to keep them cooped up.
It's the only time you get motivated is when I'm not around and you can benefit from our animals.
I'm just thinking about
And then
our
the dog
daughter.
won't walk. It's like it just lays there.
Just write it off. Oh, she just had surgery or something. There
Yeah.
you go. Then sympathy.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, if you went to take your dog for a walk and you brought Jack with you, which would make it less distance? Like, would it be Jack or the dog? Which one would you be dragging? Would you have to pick Jack up and spin him in a circle?
Oh my god. I hope not. That would be hard.
We have pedometers now that Jack and I have these little contests
Oh, I
with.
got one.
Oh, yeah, you have one too. They're called Fitbits, and we like them a lot.
1486 so far today.
I have 1578. I have 1,578 steps.
So do you know how they work? Do they have an accelerometer and measure like every time they go down And does it count that as a step?
Okay, Brainiac.
Yeah, I was just saying. I thought it was magic. I'm until you explained it that way. I'm gonna go with your explanation.
I just don't understand how they count steps.
I know I can't fake it. Like if I pick it up and like shake it, it doesn't register a step.
What if you shake your hips?
There's no shaking my head.
No, you don't. None of them you want to try. Are you wearing yours, Jeff?
I'm wearing mine.
I'll
I'm gonna
do
get
the
him to
hula
shake
dance here. Let's see. I'm at 1584 now after I said that, so I must have triggered something because I just triggered 6 steps somehow while I was funking with it. Yeah, I'm saying funking. I'm trying to protect the integrity. Dear Lord, I'm gonna kill myself.
I did 3 hip thrusts and got 1 step.
Right.
So 3 hip thrusts equals 1 step.
So when we have sex, it's like
Oh God.
when you and I have like an
That's
average time of step, it's like an average night of sex. It's like I took 4 steps.
Yeah, I just did a little shimmying and I picked up 10 steps. So
Well, it actually takes. It does take more energy to shimmy. So that's what y'all should do.
I guess it's just activity.
There you go.
But the cool thing I like about it is it will also log when you sleep. And so you can see like how well you're sleeping.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that part. You have to show that to me.
All you do
What
is
do you mean,
there's
like-
one button. Just hold the button. That's all you ever do.
I just hold the button.
Yep, and it says
For
start.
how long do I hold it?
Until it says start.
What do you mean it logs how you sleep? Like it logs how much you toss and turn in your sleep?
Yep, and you can see a graph of your sleep and see like your rhythms of when you wake
Okay,
up.
I didn't care at all about this product till right now.
It's awesome.
Now I want to see. Like I want to see that graph and see how well I sleep.
You can see how well you sleep.
Doesn't
Yep.
it also keep track of your like consumption, like your calories or whatever?
Well, if you have to enter it in on the website,
Oh, I see.
but they make it pretty easy for you.
Yeah.
Like you find out pretty quickly. Like you have to enter in the food. Well, it has like a pre-sorted list of foods, and then if your stuff's not on it, you can add it in, and then you realize pretty quickly that you only eat like 14 things.
You
ever.
only eat 14 things.
Yeah.
It's true.
Huh.
You also realize that anything you eat in a restaurant has about 45 times the amount of your daily intake of sodium that you're required to have. Mm-hmm. So this is like the story of everything these days. Like anything you eat has like 1 billion times the amount of sodium. I don't know why that is.
It's because it tastes better than not having
It's
sodium.
either sodium and or sugar. It seems like.
Yeah.
The other day, when I was flying back from DC, I stopped at a layover at the Chicago airport, and I ate at McDonald's there for the first. I can't remember the last time I ate at McDonald's, and I had a Big Mac, and I felt like I was eating fake food. Like I ate it, I got on the plane, and I was like, I'm still hungry. I feel like I didn't eat anything. Then when I landed back in Austin, I had to eat something.
Also, did it feel like you swallowed a brick? Like you chew it up and it separates as it goes down into your stomach, and then it recongeals into like this giant mass.
No, I
crazy.
didn't. I didn't experience that. Thank
Man,
God.
that's what I
That
feel
would
like
be
anytime
awful.
I eat at McDonald's.
I don't have my computer in front of me, but you should look it up. Did you guys read the statistic where Taco Bell is being
Oh,
sued
yeah.
because their ground beef only contains 36% beef?
Yep.
Yeah, and it doesn't meet
What else, does it say what else is in it?
Yes, it does.
Extenders, one of which is sand. Some kind of silica that
There's
essentially just means sand.
It's like there's like a garlic substitute, and I don't remember what else.
Oh, here it is. It's beef, water, isolated oat product, salt, chili pepper, onion powder, tomato powder, oats, soy lecithin,
Yeah.
sugar, spices, maltodextrin, soybean oil, garlic powder. I mean, it's a long list now.
What is maltodextrin? I see that all the time.
It's a polysaccharide
Oh, thank you.
that is absorbed as glucose.
Are you a supervillain?
No, I'm reading what it says right in
Okay.
front of me. You think I knew that off the top of my head?
I did.
I have
I did
no
think
idea what
that.
the fuck that is.
I do think you know that.
Yeah, so it's only 36% beef.
But it's delicious.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I know what I'm having for dinner. Or for lunch, I mean.
So yeah, so we log these, but Jack ends up with the goal is to try to get 10,000 steps a day. I mean, that's just
Right.
basically the only way that anything works for us in this office is if we try to turn it into some kind of game with a score.
Yeah.
And so try to hit 10,000 steps in a day, and then we can all rank against each other. Like Kerry has one, Matt has one, Jack has one, Jeff has one, and I have one.
Sounds
Jack-
like Gus is about to have one.
Yeah, it sounds like Gus is about to get one. I think Jack gets about an average about 1,900 steps a day.
I think if Jack wanted to, he could go 24 hours without taking 100 steps.
Well, that's actually what Brandon said. Brandon said he wants to get one to see how few steps he can get in a day.
Do like that that portal achievement.
Yes, totally like that.
I did. I had that achievement.
I know you do.
Yikes.
Okay, last thing I'm going to say about this Taco Bell thing. The USDA says any food labeled as meat taco filling should have at least 40% fresh meat.
Fucking really? Are
Now
you
they want it
serious?
fresh.
So the Taco Bell, even though it's only thank you, Lincoln. So even though Taco Bell has only 36% beef, it's barely missing the USDA guideline to be qualified as a meat taco filling.
I wonder how much money it's going to cost them to bump it up that 4%.
But think about it, it's another 11% beef on top of what they already have.
That's true.
Like 4%, yeah,
No,
roughly.
4%, right?
4%.
Well,
you
but
said
yeah,
36%.
4% of 36 is 11.
4% of 36.
What? No, you said it has to be 40%, and they're at 36%.
Okay. That's be 40. That's be another 4% of overall total volume.
Yeah.
I'm talking another 11% of volume of beef.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
What?
You are a supervillain. You should stop that.
I love how you keep saying, "Oh, I see what you're saying."
That's not true.
Is that just to move the
Yeah, because
conversation along?
it's another 4% of the 36.
That's 9.
It's 1/9, which is 11%.
Okay. Is that true?
Yeah, 1/9 is 11%.
Really?
Because 11 times 9 is 99.
I
It's
need Tim to do my taxes. You
11.111%.
got to do my taxes. They need 11% more beef than what they currently have. So if they have 36 grams out of 100 grams of beef, and they need 40 grams of beef, they need 4 more grams of 36 grams, and that's 11%.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
You guys are boring me.
By the way, this is how chicks get into it.
See, that's why I have to have a dog to mask the beef counting.
Beef counting.
Well, this dog is distracting the hell out of me. Now he's licking himself, which is good.
He also has kind of awful breath. I don't know if you noticed when you walked by earlier.
Probably from licking himself.
The Taco Bell discussion also made me think about this. Did you hear that?
Oh, no, he has a flatulence problem. That is the problem with this dog. He does have toots, dog toots.
Gross.
Yeah, it's gross.
At Cornell, I guess a group of researchers are working on making a 3D printer that prints food.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they have it working in a very rudimentary fashion right now, and they're working on expanding it.
It makes turkey, Gus said.
Turkey and chocolate. Like right now,
No, it's not turkey. It's murky. I don't know what you call that. It's fake turkey. Furky.
and you know Best Buy's not going to have the fucking refills for that printer.
So do you just take like turkey paste and like plug it in and it just squirts it out in like a fashion, or does it like actually? You said it had like.
Okay, when you say it like that,
elements.
it sounds awesome.
I mean, does it take that like already? Does it take the substance that's already there and push it into a form, or does it?
Here's how it describes it. It prints domes of turkey on a cutting board.
Dome?
So
Domes.
if you get a toner low sign and you're out of cyan, does your turkey come out like blue?
Yeah, like if it comes off color.
We need more photo magenta in the turkey printer.
Yeah, I'm out of turkey magenta. You know, this does remind me of a conversation we had the other day, though. Tomorrow we have showing up here like a glass fridge that's dedicated for just drinks.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, we're a software production company.
That's right. You got to have
etc.
one of those.
Yeah, you have to have one of those.
We got to have someplace for our blue sky sodas, right?
Talking Rain.
Talking Rain.
And so that's showing up tomorrow, and then the discussion came of how are we going to stock this thing, because nobody wants to be the person who goes to Costco to pick up all the stuff.
Right.
And then what are we going to put in it? And people were upset with me because I categorically refuse to buy bottled water. I think bottled water is one of the stupidest things on the planet.
It's a sham.
It's a total sham, right?
Yeah. Drink your fucking tap water.
Here, Gus, we'll use Jeff. Jeff is an everyday everyman, right?
I am every man.
Okay. What is something that you enjoy drinking? Anything.
Bottled water.
No.
Okay. Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. Okay. Let me tell you this. Let's say I have a thing that I can install in your house, and it goes in your sink. It'll be next to your sink.
Okay.
And it'll be a tap that when you use it, it comes out as Jack Daniels, and it's right there, and you never have to go anywhere and get Jack Daniels. And it's better quality Jack Daniels than what you get in the store, and it could be there at your sink whenever you want Jack Daniels.
But does it taste as good as Jack Daniels from the bottle?
It'd be better quality, yes.
But does it taste as good?
See, here's his taste is good.
Oh, come on. Okay, let me
Taste
tell
is
you the-
subjective.
Okay.
Would you pay for that tap in your house to have a Jack Daniels tap? Let's even bring it down.
Would
Let's
you
assume you're not going to kill yourself.
$8 a month.
What about a Lone Star tap? Like, would you pay somebody $500 to put a Lone Star tap where you never have to fill it up? It automatically has Lone Star in it at all points in time, and the Lone Star comes out at like 8 cents a gallon.
Yes, I would.
Right.
Yes.
And people have that in their house now with water, and they still go out and buy water.
Well, according to my wife, all the water in Austin tastes like blue algae. And
Not
it's
all the time,
undrinkable.
but there's seasons in Austin where the algae it gets out of control and you can taste it in the water. And
Yeah.
I couldn't even wash my face with it.
They do have algae blooms occasionally in the water, in Austin tap water.
When I lived with when Gus and Jeff were living together when I first moved in with Jeff, they couldn't taste it or smell it. I couldn't even take a shower. Like it was so gross.
I was just trying to deny it to make you think you were being crazy.
Oh, is that right? You
Yeah,
could really taste
I
it?
thought maybe you would think if you were imagining it if I didn't acknowledge
See
it.
what I'm talking about? Supervillain.
And then maybe you would go away.
And then Gus and Jeff could go back to their blissful lives together.
Hiding from the pizza man in the hallway.
Hey, remember that crazy girl who tasted algae and everything?
She was crazy.
It was so weird. So here's what I'm taking away from this conversation. 3 months a year, Griffin doesn't shower. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, at least.
Okay. Because unless you're showering with
I shower-
Evian,
She's still that still puts her 6 months ahead of Matt though. So.
I showered way less than I met Jeff. I've definitely picked it up since.
She used to shower she used to go jump in the river.
Guy couldn't afford a shower curtain or soap.
Oregon.
Bullshit.
No, I really had no
Oregon
money.
hillbilly.
I really had no money.
She used to brush her teeth with baking
So you
soda.
found soap in the river is what you're talking about?
No, I just didn't. I didn't worry about it.
Because it's the river.
No,
I was
just,
so attracted to her.
The river smells worse than BO, right? I mean,
She was such a breath of air.
I will say, I will agree with you on this, Bernie. It's not good to drink water out of plastic or anything out of plastic. It supposedly gives you cancer.
Would you jump in the river naked?
No,
Or you'd shower, you'd
like I'm
bathe
some kind of animal. No way.
so you would bathe in a swimming suit?
no, you would just walk around your house naked.
No, I mean, when Jeff met me, it was summer and it was Denmark, and so I lived like.
Gus, she walked around other people's houses.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
Defense.
No, I paid rent, whatever.
Watching Babylon 5.
Okay. No, but what you were saying, it isn't good to buy bottled water because putting anything in plastic, and especially if you leave water in the car, like in a plastic container, apparently, like, it gives you cancer.
Yeah, well,
It gives you that BPA, whatever that
Yeah.
stuff is, that gives you man boobs because it makes you develop estrogen. Or you have
Oh, yeah.
girls now. What we talked about this once before. There's girls going through puberty now at the age of 8 because of hormones and beef, and they think it might be that BPA thing too.
so if you want to avoid that, feed all your young girls Taco Bell to avoid any
Stay away from
hormone-injected beef.
Taco Bell and algae water, and then you're fine.
Is the algae bad for you? Do you know, Gus? If it's like a
No,
health issue?
no, it has no effect other than the smell.
Have you really never noticed?
Never. Nope.
And you never noticed either, Jeff, have you?
I have noticed since then, but
Yeah.
I didn't notice at the time.
I had never noticed until you pointed it out.
So gross.
There was a time when you got into it with a waiter at a restaurant. I think it was El Mercado, actually. And you sent your water back because it tasted like blue algae, and I tasted it too.
Yeah,
that day.
it was bad.
It's the only time I've ever noticed it.
When I drink a glass of water, it's like I drink a full 16-ounce glass of water. I drink it in like 10 seconds. I don't sip water. I just slam water.
I'm the same way with Jack Daniels.
What? That's why you need the tap in your house. That's exactly what I'm getting at.
No, I agree. I'm not. You're preaching to the converted.
No, water's awesome. I think when I was a kid, I didn't like drinking water. I always wanted to drink sodas. But then as I got older, I was like, water's the best thing in the world.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
One of my kids won't drink anything but water.
Really?
Yep, Teddy.
Good.
He won't drink anything but water.
And chocolate from a fountain.
And chocolate fountain, right? Exactly. That's the new hotness.
Balances each other out. As opposed to Ben, who only drinks chocolate from a fountain.
Here's the other thing too: is we got him this chocolate fountain. We thought it'd be great, and it was essentially like a $50 gag gift. He was disappointed for about 30 seconds and then didn't give a fuck. I mean, really, just he hasn't talked about it since. It's been sitting in a box in my garage, waiting to go back to Amazon. Now it's probably way past the point at which I can return it.
Yeah.
And it's just didn't matter. Doesn't care. He's on to the next thing.
Turned into a chocolate fountain.
Did you replace it with a Snickers bar? Like, there we go.
No, we just
Let's put the Snickers bar in the microwave. Here's
He
a bowl of.
He went and jumped on the trampoline. You remember that hamster we talked about a couple of weeks ago? It was just like that. It was like, oh, hey, what's that? Look at that. Let's go.
Hey, so how many of the Best Picture nominees did you guys see?
Man, there was a couple that showed up that I didn't know anything about.
I saw a couple. I didn't know what The Kids Are All Right was.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
You can get that on iTunes. It's one of the ones I've thought about getting.
It's a Mark Ruffalo film, right?
I don't know who Mark Ruffalo is.
He's that dude.
He was in
Okay.
that
You're
movie,
better than IMDb.
the movie with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet.
Yeah, he was in that. He was in that movie too, where like some girl died, or he died, and
Yeah, he was in that movie. That was awful.
yeah,
It was Reese Witherspoon who died, right?
yeah. Reese Witherspoon died and haunted.
So we
him
know
or-
everyone in the movie. We don't remember any of the names of the movies.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about something. It'd be funny if IMDb had existed. It literally could not have existed before the internet. It'd have been great if it did exist, like in like 1990, where you just call an 800 number and you're like, "Hey, who is that guy in that movie with Angelina Jolie where they're fighting the cyborgs?" And the person that operates like, "Oh, what is that? That's hold on a second."
They go to a filing cabinet and pull out the Angelina Jolie file.
Yeah, it's like, let me talk to my manager. Hello, this is the manager. That was Cyborg too, ma'am.
and they were like, "Thank you for calling Pueblo, Colorado."
Pueblo, Colorado.
Did anyone ever send away for that pamphlet to Pueblo,
I don't-
Colorado?
I don't think so.
God, that was like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, like all the Time Life mystery novels and all that, or mystery books and all that shit.
We're running the risk of dating ourselves here by talking about early 80s cartoons.
That's a good point.
You know, because it's funny because we always say that with Achievement Hunter, there's always this talk about should we do a retro gaming series, like where we focus on retro games.
Right.
But the thing about retro gaming is nobody gives a shit about anybody else's what they consider retro games.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the ones you grew up playing, you're excited because you grew up playing them. Nobody else cares.
Like we could do a whole series on A Boy and His Blob, and everybody would just complain that it wasn't Battletoads.
I don't care about that. Is that a game you liked as a
I
kid?
liked that game.
Yeah, it was
Boy
okay
Meets
with it.
Blob? Not interested. Like if you went and played Ultima, what I played growing up on the Commodore 64, I'd be like, what the hell? This game sucks.
Well, also, like, how would I find a computer that old to run it?
They have emulators now.
It's like John Titor. I'd have to be on a search to find this one fucking IBM machine.
Some Linux machine that adds in the 0-bit column or something like that. Was that what he was looking for?
You can go down to Discount Electronics. I'm sure you could cobble something together with
there you
their buckets of spare parts.
You want to upset Brandon sometime?
Yes, I do.
Talk to him about the Power Rangers because he grew up watching the Power Rangers. He actually thinks that's cool.
Dude,
He really thinks they're cool.
I cannot break him of that.
when we were doing the shoot with Mega 64 at my house, it was the TSA shoot. I don't think you were there at this moment because you had to go do something. But he and Rocco got into a conversation about when Power Rangers jumped the shark. And they were so fucking serious about it.
And they came to an agreement.
It was when Power Rangers went into space. Apparently, that was
the moment.
That was the moment they jumped the shark. But like Derek, Sean, Gus, and I were just standing there watching him, like in disbelief, with our jaws out. Like
It's like you lose respect for them. It's like I can't believe these are people I work with.
At first, you think it's an ironic conversation, and then you feel like it's one of those Family Guy jokes that they carry on too long, and then it becomes funnier the longer they carry it on. And then you realize that they just need to be punched, and that's all there is to it. Brandon looks up stuff on Amazon, and there's like devices he wants to buy, like Power Rangers watches. And
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
watch, right?
He
Yeah.
showed him like all the different wristband colors. And
Oh my
everything.
God, really?
He's the other day. Like I think he was expecting me to be like, ooh.
Like a lot of people say the Red Rangers watch is the best, but I like the Yellow Rangers watch because it tells time in beats.
Oh God. Okay, Brandon was showing me this watch he really wants to buy, or like it's a some Japanese line of watches that had like the screen doesn't look anything like a typical watch, and it's a totally different way. It's almost like.
Come on in.
Hey, here we are. We're talking about
we're
you.
just talking about you. Do you want to tell everyone about those Japanese watches you're really into?
Or tell us how cool the Power Rangers are. Brandon Farmahini, everyone.
I didn't say the watches were cool. I said they were wanted one. Since I want something doesn't mean it's cool.
Get a chair. So, Brandon, I want you to. We were describing how nobody's retro is relevant to anybody else, and how. Do you want to tell us why Power Rangers is so awesome?
Well, I mean, if you're that age, I mean, everybody who...
What, 24?
I'm 24. Monty is about 26.
Monty's 29.
What, really?
Yeah.
Hell.
Why are you out now?
I'm just saying, get your facts straight.
If you're the right age, I mean, that's just kind of what you grew up with. And it was, at the time, really crazy. Like a lot of cool fighting, guys turning into monsters, robots turning into monsters.
When did they jump the shark?
When they went to Cars.
I thought it was when they went to space.
No. Cars was right before space. I mean, dinosaurs turning into giant robots, that's cool. Cars turning into big robots?
So
That's Transformers.
That's Transformers.
Yeah,
And Voltron.
not as cool. Power Rangers are awesome. And it's not just me.
There were dinosaur Transformers.
There was
for the
also
record.
Fucking, what were they called?
I don't remember.
It was Grimlock and those guys.
Yeah.
Mega 64 came down here a few weeks ago, and I'm not going to out him, but one of the Mega 64
We already
guys-
talked about Rocco.
Oh.
We already outed
Yeah,
him. We
You tell the
fucking Inquisition, guys. What's wrong?
you tell the story entirely differently, though. You tell it like we got together and everyone realized that we found each other. It's like we talked about this thing we had in common. Jeff says there were two idiots off on the side telling a story while everybody else stared at them. So there were we added more people into our group than you added into your group, I guarantee.
Okay, so when you guys were kids, you didn't have that same thing. That dumb thing looking back now that older people thought was stupid, but you loved.
No, that's what we're saying. Absolutely. That other people's retro doesn't matter to anybody else.
Right.
We look at other people's retro and think, oh, that's stupid. Who gives a shit about your thing? Mm-hmm. Like, I think probably the dumbest thing I watched growing up was like, probably Thundercats? That's garbage.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You
awful.
know, that kind of stuff.
But see, we can admit it's awful now.
It's true. We can't.
Power Rangers are still awesome.
Like, for instance, I remember Thundercats jumped the shark the day the series was pitched.
The day they turned Richard Simmons into a cat and made him a lead character in a show.
The worst
Snarf.
The worst part about looking back on that series is like it's an 18-minute show. 6 minutes are Japanese footage, and then another 3 minutes is stock footage. So it's about 4 minutes of good American television.
Or just American television.
or just American television.
Actually, I can out Griffin on something here, too, because Millie recently dyed her hair, had a friend dye her hair.
Oh, yeah.
And
Larkin from Pajama Achievements.
Larkin did it. And who is a professional hairdresser? Is that the proper term?
Stylist.
Yeah,
Stylist?
she's-
Cosmetologist? Colorist? And so Griffin was saying that. And I mean, I think it's cute and fun. And I think Griffin felt the need to say why a 5-year-old is getting her hair colored a little bit. It's like a stripe. She has like a pink or green
It's
stripe.
green, yeah.
Yeah, green stripe in her hair. And Griffin says when she was younger, she wanted her hair dyed like Chitara from
Yeah,
the Thundercats.
I wanted yellow. I begged my mom, and she was like, "No." And then I begged my mom to let me dye my hair green when I was reading a book, and one of the characters had green hair, and she said no. So I said yes.
So this is Griffin's way of
She didn't
compensating.
she didn't even wait for Millie to ask. She was like, "You're getting Chitara hair." I was like, "That just
No,
sucks."
I think Chitara hair would be almost impossible with longer hair, though. Like with short hair, you can do like the polka dots and that kind of thing, like if it's buzzed. But
You're not
Yeah.
shaving on her daughter's head just to give her cheetah hair.
no, you'd have to be genetically altered, I think, for it to work.
Okay. You're not genetically altering her daughter. Not for that.
Can I get back to the Brandon's watch story?
Sure,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so he was showing me these crazy like Japanese watches that you're saying they revolutionize how you tell time, and they're like
I
a
didn't
code.
say it revolutionized.
You
You
said
said it was
something
weird.
Go along with it.
No, but you're like you kind of have to know like the code on how to tell time, and then you tried to show me how it was different from your watch, but you couldn't tell time with your watch, like
Your
your
normal
regular,
watch.
your normal watch.
Yeah, because it doesn't behave like a normal watch. Like I've had watches like this my whole life.
Well, what's
What-
wrong with it? Tell me
I don't know,
what's wrong
I
with
press
your
a
watch.
button, and then the second hand goes all the way to 0. It turns into a timer. I never got the manual.
You're right. You should get the more complicated watch. That'll work out well for you.
It's just
Well,
it's all about the
thing is,
manual.
if he already has a watch, he can't tell time. I have to side with Brandon on that one. If he already has a watch, he can't tell the time with. There's nothing wrong with getting another watch that's difficult to tell
Yeah, no,
time
at
with.
least if you get like the code watch, people understand why you don't understand.
Right, exactly. At least you have an excuse for not knowing what time it is when you're wearing a watch.
Tokyo Flash is the name of the website if you want to check out and see what we're talking about.
Okay.
And if you're listening to the Enhanced podcast, you can click on the link right now.
Is it Tokyo Flash or Tokyo Dash Flash?
Tokyo Flash.
Because I bet one of those is totally different than the other.
I bet they are. I bet they are. I made a horrible. I have a watch that I hate as well, but the reason I hate the watch is it's a super cool watch that has like a compass, an altimeter, a barometer, all that stuff in it. One of these Timex outdoor watches, which I'm fooling myself into buying it, thinking I'm going to use all this stuff.
Just in case you go.
You don't need a barometer.
Like,
Just in case I like
jump out of a plane, then go spelunkering, and then go scuba diving.
Exactly. Remember that movie, Calling 1-800-IMDb? Hey, what was the movie with Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin with the bear?
The bear.
Yeah, the bear.
Or
right?
the
Edge.
The Edge. That was the. That's a great movie.
It is.
It's a great line. That's the spirit that beat the Japanese.
But he makes a compass on a leaf or something like that. And I thought I can't do that, so I'm just going to get the watch that does that because I'm outdoors so much. Not only do I not use the functions on the watch, but my watch gave me the ultimate fuck you. It's a solar watch, and I don't go outside enough to charge it.
Hey,
And it doesn't run.
Both of you said.
I have the exact same problem. I also have a solar watch. Every now and then I have to leave it on the dashboard of my car while I'm in here at work to charge it. Otherwise, it'll just die.
That is so sad. I mean, I don't even have enough lights on in my office to charge it by like fluorescent
Why
lighting.
don't you guys just get USB powered watches?
I
That would be
don't
so much
know.
better for you.
I don't know. It was a
pathetic.
bit of a wake up call that I don't go in the sun enough to charge a solar watch.
When I'm driving, I try to like adjust my sleeve to make sure that the watch is out and it's like positioned in the sun as I'm holding onto the steering wheel.
To be fair to you, when you're spelunkering and scuba diving,
think it's
you're just not getting
spelunking.
that much sunlight.
That is true. That is true.
So
When
it's
I'm-
not your fault.
Well, like when I'm in my one man submarine, there's nothing that can be done. Actually, having the dog has got me out a lot more. You know, and one of my kids is starting soccer as well, so that helps.
Well, there you go.
I'm fascinated by how information spread before the internet. Like when everyone had a Nintendo, everybody's Nintendo, that had the greatest failure rate of any console that I know of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Everybody's Nintendo failed at some point.
Yes.
And nobody complained.
And everybody in the world knew to blow on that cartridge.
Yeah, or
Everybody.
shimmy it, or there were no new breakthroughs in how to fix that.
Right.
Right, but how did everybody know that? Like that if you blow on the contacts, it might work and it might take.
Pen pals.
That is viral information that's
Yeah.
spread.
Don't you think but you kind of blew in everything back then, like a tape? You take it out of the VCR because it was just fucked up, and you like lift it and blow. I mean, isn't that how, like our solution for everything?
That was my
At the time?
my first experience with rebooting something to try to fix the problem. Also, it's like doesn't work. Reboot. Sometimes you just like sit there and power cycle it over and over.
Pray that it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But while we're speaking of not spending enough time outside, Brandon and I watched the first game of the championship weekend, and we watched Green Bay beat Chicago. And I thought, I'm not sticking around for the second game. Brandon felt the same way. So Jack was like, well, you have to watch the kick. He was doing everything he could to try to keep us in that bar. Like, well, at least watch me finish my beer. It's like, come on, Jack, fucking drink your beer. Let's go.
Watch me finish my beer.
And
It was riveting.
it really was. He's I got this thing now where he has a keychain.
Yeah.
And he's drinking all 40 beers, and they punch him every time. If they punch the keychain every time he orders one of these beers,
And then
he's
when
very excited about it.
Then when he gets it, he gets a free keychain.
Oh yes,
Yeah, that's the
Which
that's
he
the
already
reward,
has.
Which he already has. Yeah.
to start it.
I felt really bad when I got there because as soon as Jack got in, the waitress recognized him and she was like, "Hey, where's your friend Joel?"
That is true. Here's the way he told me the story. He said, I think I made the comment that the waitress was cute, which she was. And if my wife was listening to the podcast, I did not say that. I said she was cute, and Jack says, yeah, when I came in, she recognized me. And I go, oh yeah, really? She goes, yeah, she came right up to me, and she goes, hey, how you doing? Where's your friend? And he goes, so I think she might have a thing for me. I'm like, you really took that away from that conversation? Hey, where's your friend? I mean, I admire the optimism, but let's not go crazy. But then after we were leaving the place, I got a call on my cell phone. It's Monty. And Monty, and I want to preface this by saying Monty is the kind of guy who he would live at the office. In fact, there was a short time where he did live at the office.
Yeah.
And he was sleeping in one of our spare conference rooms that we have. And that he would totally prefer to do that. He would be at his desk 18 hours a day and then just sleep in a closet and come back and go back to his desk. He loves what he does that much. So when he was deciding where he was going to live when we changed offices, he moved into an apartment I knew that was very close to here. And I thought it was across Slaughter, which nobody listening to the podcast will know what that means, but there's a major thoroughfare that goes right by us, and I thought he lived across that major street. So he calls me and he says, hey, my car's dead. I need a jump. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, it just so happens I'm right around the corner at a bar, so let me come out and I'll help you. So I go to jump his car. I realize he doesn't live across the street. He lives across the street. He lives in this apartment complex right here. And just so you can understand
Like
how far,
100 feet away.
like you could probably stand at our front door, and do you think you could hit that apartment complex throwing a baseball?
Yes, I could.
Easily, right?
Yeah.
So I said to Monty, I go to jump his car. I go, oh, you live right here? I thought you lived like 3 or 4 blocks away. He goes, no, I just tried to move as close as I could, And I said, yeah, that makes sense. I said, why do you drive your car to work every day? And he says, oh, I know. And I said, he goes, it's just like, it's kind of a distance. And I was like, but I can literally see the office right there. Like I can read our sign. It's
We could
right
play
there.
catch.
And he goes, I know. He goes, I'm just being lazy. He goes, but the weather's getting warmer and I'm going to get a bike. that was his explanation. It would take longer to get the bike out than it would to walk to the office.
The correct explanation is that it would take him like 10 minutes longer, which would be 10 minutes less time in his life he had to work on RBB.
He's totally efficient. Like he's probably
Yeah.
got it worked out in his head exactly how many seconds it takes off of the trip to the work to get in the car and come.
Like Monty one time told me he doesn't microwave things for a minute because you have to push 3 buttons. He microwaves things for 59 seconds because that's one less button he has to push.
50,
Yeah.
You mean 55 or 50? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
If he did 59, it'd be 2 less buttons because he just hit the 5 twice. Doesn't have to move his
55, you mean.
finger.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he does that 5 twice.
Does he?
There you go.
Yeah, he brought that. One podcast he came in and talked about it.
You talked about him living in the office for a little while. When we filmed some of those, or when you filmed some of those immersion intros in front of the game and in front of the TV, he was asleep right behind the camera.
Right. Yeah, he's behind the camera asleep in the corner. He can also sleep through anything, which I admire.
That was amazing. Like I would forget he was there.
Especially considering it's not just for people who don't like film a lot. Sorry, I know something in my throat. It's not just like you walk in with a camera, put Bernie in a chair in front of it, and start shooting. It's like an hour of moving lights around very loudly, turning lights on, turning them off, the room getting very hot, moving positions, 7 people talking, and it's like he didn't just sleep through that part. He slept through all the setup and all the teardown.
Yeah, it takes a lot of people to make me look as good as I do.
It does, but you look great.
A couple months ago when he was in the office sleeping in that room, someone didn't realize he was in there, and they engaged the alarm, and there is a motion sensor in that room pointed right at Monty, so he's just a motionless sleeper.
I kind of like that. I think Monica could beat the motion sensor, don't
Yeah.
you? I can imagine like scaling the walls, you know?
It reminds me of that scene in Sneakers where they're like, you just have to move real slow.
I'll bet you a few dollars that Monty has a smoke bomb on him. I bet he has. He just throws it down, poof, and then there he goes.
Smoke bomb and a sword gun.
So then at the end of this thing when we jumped his car finally, he gets in his car and I get in my car. And I said, well, I'm going to drive back to the office. And I said, I'm going to meet me over there? Because I had to roll our trash out. Another story. Hey, that's Jeff duty, right? Rolling out the trash.
Sure.
Or Brandon, you should be doing it. But I said I was going to go back and roll out the trash. And I said, so you're going to go back to the office too? And he says, oh, no, I'm going to the gym. And I was like, oh, I said, I know you joined the gym. I said, what gym? Are you the one that Jack goes to down the block here? He goes, no, it's at the front of the apartment complex. And he drives away. There's literally no distance that he won't drive. It's like if he could drive from his front door to his bed, he probably would do that.
You should get a
Yeah,
mini
we
go-kart.
should get him a go-kart to go from his car to his desk in the office.
Does he? Is his tire? He had a flat tire since like Christmas, right?
He keeps filling it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like a slow leak.
Monty is 100% function for the stuff that he does. Like he dumps so much of the aesthetic and form into like what's on the screen that it's like he has none of it left for the rest of his life. He doesn't care. Could
Absolutely.
care less. Doesn't care at all.
That's
It's
true.
impressive.
That's true to a little bit, but he does do like costuming and stuff. His girlfriend dresses up and like puts on does cosplay or whatever.
Yeah, he's
So
got a cool one going right now.
Yeah, like he does that stuff too. So in his outside life, it's usually for a purpose. It's
It's
not
for his
like,
projects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care when he watches us do stuff like you painting the walls or like we're putting in cabinets in the kitchen, like finishing out the building. He's like, what's all this for?
Yeah.
It's like, get out of this stuff.
That said, he also said, well, do you think I should talk to Matt and Bernie about getting us Nerf guns? Because I think it'll be a really good way for us to interact and relieve stress.
It's a way for him to interact and really because he shoots Carrie.
Yeah, he
with
shoots Carrie a lot. But yeah, so I think you're right, except that he does, he likes frills. They're just different kinds of frills.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to the Oscars.
yeah.
I think I've seen True Grit. I haven't seen King's Speech. There's one at the end there, too, that I didn't remember. Gus, can you read the whole list?
It's 127 Hours, Black Swan, Inception, The Fighter, The Kids Are All Right, The King's Speech, The Social Network, Toy Story 3, True Grit, and Winter's Bone.
That's it. What is Winter's
Yeah, no
I
idea.
have not heard of that one.
Sounds like porn. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
Yeah, I've seen about half of those, I guess.
I was pleased to see Toy Story 3 in Best Picture and not Best Animated.
It's not going to win.
Yeah, but it's just weird that they have a Best Animated category and Toy Story 3 is in Best
Yeah,
Picture.
it's
Yeah.
really awkward for everyone else in the animated category.
I thought How to Train Your Dragon could have been a contender for that.
It was very good.
Except is there something about the casting in that movie that was off? Everything else was good, but the casting, the voice acting didn't quite match the characters or something.
Wasn't it Bill Hader was one of the guys in that?
I want to say you're right. I know
Yeah.
one of the guys was Craig Ferguson,
Yeah.
and he was pretty good, but they didn't seem burly enough for the guys that they were playing.
I liked Megamind a lot.
Bill Hader, I'm not sure. I think one of them was I want to say Gerard Depardieu. That's not it. The Gerard Butler.
Oh, Gerard Butler.
Yeah, that
sure.
guy. The guy from 300.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys in there. He was the father. I don't know who the son was. I think it was who's the dude from Tropic Thunder, the geeky dude? That's also in Sorcerer's Apprentice. Josh Dushnichel or something?
Jay Baruchel.
Okay.
I do not see Bill Hader in the list for How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I don't think Bill Hader's in that.
Look up Bill Hader. What animated film was he in this year?
everything.
Last year. Yeah, that dude is in every movie. Except, How to Train Your Dragon,
All
apparently.
right, guys, I got to head out. As always, thanks for talking shit.
Yeah, no
Appreciate it.
problem. You had impeccable timing today. We try to talk shit about you in the first, like around the 20-minute mark. So if you just want to come in every week,
He was in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
that's it. Sorry, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, yeah.
Not the best movie.
Brandon, as always, thank you for the easy material. We appreciate it. All your effort.
If it wasn't for Brandon and Jack, what would we talk about?
Oh, Bill Hader's younger than me.
Is he really?
Yeah, Jesus.
Way more successful.
You know what a big turning point for me was when Playboy centerfolds, because they have their birth date on the centerfold information, which is very important. When the first one is younger than me, that was a big turning point in my life. I felt that's like 19 that happened.
I was listening to Stern the other day, and Seth Rogen was on, and he's like 26. That was hard for me to listen to. That's fucking young.
He's young, but man, he's been doing stand up forever.
Yeah.
He was doing stand up at like 14, I think.
Yeah, no, he definitely put in the hours to achieve his success, but goddamn,
Yeah, he's 28.
28. There you go.
About turns 29 in April.
Well, he looks 40. If I
yeah.
Did anybody see The Green Hornet?
No.
No, I heard it was good though.
I heard
Jack,
it was
so
good,
I
too.
don't know. But yeah, they do say it's good. Wasn't nominated, but
It
I don't think it opened. I think it's for next
it's
year.
next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize that Michel Gondry was the person directing it. It seems like a weird fit. He
I
makes
don't know.
bizarre movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to note that our drunk tank Best Picture winner is not even a nominee for the Oscars
That's true.
because it's a documentary.
Nominee for best documentary though.
I need to
Bunch of heathens.
get those trophies made.
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
No, I
So-
got to get on that.
Out of that list and what you've seen, what do you think the movie of the year is? Just based off what you've seen.
I haven't seen it, but I think The King's Speech, from what everything I'm hearing, has a really good shot. But based on what I've seen, I would say True Grit. I haven't seen a lot of stuff on there. I haven't seen Black Swan.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of those.
I liked The Social Network better than True Grit, I think. But I like them both a lot.
Don't you and your wife usually go and see all of the nominees? Like,
Yep. It was harder last year when there was 10. So, but we'll try to do it again this year. We have a month to watch essentially 8 movies. That's kind of tough.
yeah,
But
definitely.
especially if they're not on video yet.
I saw an unofficial poll on CNN.com. I think it was last night where maybe it was the day before. It's gone. I can't find it again. But it was a poll that said, how many Best Picture nominees have you seen? And it was like, 1 through 5, 6 through 10, or none. And 62% of the people who answered that poll said none.
Wow.
62% of the people who took that poll on the front page of CNN.com had not seen one of those 10 movies.
Which is strange because Toy Story 3 and Inception are in there.
Yeah, those are. I mean, historically, it's always been like art house films and like heady films. But
There were some very mainstream movies in there.
yeah, like I remember when Gladiator got nominated, how weird it was that a movie like Gladiator, a blockbuster, had been nominated. But yeah, Inception and Toy Story were huge draws this year.
It does seem almost like, I mean, shouldn't you take in consideration the people that actually see it in movies that are actually popular? I mean,
Yeah.
No.
no.
Nope. That's because a lot of that's marketing.
Well, and I guess like that's its own reward, right? If you do well financially, that's its own reward.
I mean, look, you're going to put grown-ups in there, it's
Yeah.
not really...
It's true. Like I remember one year Jimmy Kimmel did this thing where he interviewed people on the best movie of the year and what was nominated, and like White Girls and AVP like overwhelmingly won based on like audience reaction.
Yeah.
And by the way, each one of those movies made way more than anything that was nominated.
No, that was
year.
something else. That was
I think it was Chris Rock.
that was
did
Chris
that.
Rock. Yeah, who did that?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for when he was the MC, right? 1 year.
Oh,
And
yeah, I
then-
think it was actually part of the award ceremony.
Was Yeah.
it? Yeah. And I remember Saw was a big one. Like people were like, "Oh man, that Saw was great." But popularity is its own reward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
It's a money reward.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
I guess that's true.
And whoever has one wants the other. Whoever
Yeah.
has the $300 million movie.
I'm sure the Wayans brothers are riding around in their jet skis in the French Caribbean right now, crying their eyes out that they didn't win an Academy Award.
Do the Wayans brothers have that much movie?
I think they're doing pretty well. They did all those scary movies.
Oh yeah.
They did White Girls, which made like $100 million. They did that. One of them turned into a baby movie that made like $70 million.
Yeah, Little Big Man,
Little
is that
Big
what it's
Man.
called?
How much did that make? That did not make. How much did it?
Look up Little Big Man. I'm gonna bet it made $60 million.
You have to vamp a bit. It takes me a little while to get there.
Those scary movies, those were like the number one. Like each one broke the record for number one opening for an R-rated movie.
I just saw a poster on the Apple's movie page, which they seem like they're moving away from that. The Apple's trailer page. It used to be the place to go to watch all the trailers, but now I find more recent ones on Yahoo of all places.
Yeah.
And like film blogs. But on the Apple page, they had a poster for. I didn't watch the trailer, but they had a poster for Scream 4. And I was pretty surprised to know that there's only been 3 Scream movies. It seems like there's been about 10 of those.
Oh, really?
things. Yeah.
It was,
Of the
it
actual
was,
Scream movie?
Yeah, Scream.
Oh.
it was actually called Little Man, and it made $58 million.
Yeah.
How
You were
much was
close.
the budget?
64.
Oh.
Oh.
They lost some money on that.
I bet they didn't.
I bet they'll be fine.
What'd they make internationally?
International, they did another 42.
There you go.
No, they stink, man.
No, you sell your international rights, but still, they make money off that. DVD sales, rentals. They made their money.
You hear about Kevin Smith?
Yeah, what a douche.
You think he's a douche?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man.
Wait, he's retiring? Is that what he said?
No, I can't. I'm not going to be able to explain this story. It was really exciting to Jack yesterday. I don't know if I'll explain it well.
Should we bring Jack in?
No, it's
Come
okay.
on,
no,
that'd be fun.
No.
It's essentially Kevin Smith's going around with his new movie Red State, which is his horror film, and he said he was going to change the way that studios buy films. Like he was going to revolutionize the way independent movies are purchased. And he said at Sundance, after his showing, he would have an auction, and that he would sell the movie to the highest bidder. So all these executives went and they watched the movie and they went to start the bidding process. And he goes, "Okay, opening bid is me, $20 sold. I now have the rights to my movie." And he just it was all like I guess a publicity scam, and sold the rights to the movie to himself for $20. And now he's going to take it around to theaters and charge like $50 or $60 people to get in and see it.
What?
According to Jack.
Sounds like cold feet to me. like maybe he thought he wasn't, coming down to this auction of people buying his movie right there on the spot. I think he got cold feet.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Pulled a jack.
You used to work for him, right? Or like in some capacity?
I PA'd on some VSQ stuff.
Are you done?
And I don't know what's going on with me today. And I worked a lot of jobs with VSQ employees.
I see. Okay.
And to be fair, I met and talked to Kevin many times. A very, very nice guy. He really was.
You have to give him credit, at least in one regard, in that he's made Sundance relevant. I haven't heard any information out of Sundance in probably 5 years. I mean, it comes and goes, and I literally hear nothing about Sundance.
I didn't know it was Sundance until Jack told me that story.
Yeah.
And I'll say another thing about that dude, Kevin Smith. He's a marketing genius and a merchandising genius. That dude has turned his small slice of the film world into millions of dollars in merchandising and done very well with it.
I agree with you. I think this is one step too far. I think, from what I've heard, he's taking this movie around. He's doing like a tour with it. And it's going to be it sounds like a combination of a screening and a night with Kevin Smith. And he's charging $70.
Is that what it is? 70? Yeah, I knew it was expensive. I think I said 50, but yeah, 7. That's crazy.
If he charges $70 a ticket, I mean, that's I think that crosses the line between excellent marketing and milking your audience.
That being said, I think Kevin Smith has a large enough audience to fill seats everywhere he goes.
That being said, it'll work. We're totally going to do
it. Let's have a screening. Is what I'm getting away from this conversation.
Can we charge cover at the door of our theater in PAX? That'd be awesome.
But I mean, the dude's a smart dude, Say what you will about his films, and he would just sit inside fucking the Secret Stash, his comic book shop where I used to get my comics from. And he would just hang out for like an hour a day and just talk to anybody that came in that wanted to talk to him.
You said he was really nice to his fans, but
the people that I worked with who worked with him didn't like him as much as the fans. I'll say that. So,
well, I mean, that doesn't sound atypical.
That doesn't sound atypical. Yeah, I'm sure that Church's wife and Roadblock like Bernie a hell of a lot more than I do.
Like me, you mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. You like me a lot. I'm still trying to get Griffin to leave. Give her some bad tasting water. So we can spend more time together.
We should wrap things up before we go too long.
Okay. Oh. It's been such a lovely time.
We had a late start on the podcast today. I got to make sure we get it out on time.
I watched you bookmark all the sites we were going to talk about today. You didn't get to any of them.
Yeah, but that's a rolling target. I don't ever want to shoehorn that conversation in.
There is a topic we should probably talk about because it just happened and it's very relevant, I think, to our audience. Do you mind if I bring it up?
Go ahead.
Now I have to, right?
Yeah.
After that,
you set it up.
So
we'll knock it down.
I don't know. I think it was Putin, Vladimir Putin, what was he? The premier of Russia?
Yes.
Who blamed the bombing of the Moscow airport on Modern Warfare. Did he?
Yeah.
On the scenes in Modern Warfare, the no Russian scene. Yeah, he said that he thinks that the. Can you look up the quote so I'm not misquoting the foreign leader?
Yeah. So Putin's a gamer? That's awesome.
That's really cool. He's clearly a Halo fan.
He knows individual levels from Modern Warfare 2.
I don't think he specifically said that, but I mean, who knows? Somebody probably showed it to him like right after the event and said, "See, look at this." And what I think is interesting about this is my Twitter feed about a week ago was talking about how Sarah Palin caused the shooting in Arizona. Right. And now my Twitter feed is saying how it's ridiculous to think a video game could cause a bombing in an airport.
Right. There's a fair amount of hypocrisy.
And people don't see, it's like it's surprising to me how quickly people will abandon their baseline fundamental judgments. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of what they believe about things.
Could not agree with you more.
I don't see anywhere that Putin or a government official made the direct correlation. I see like terrorism experts talking about it.
Really? Because everywhere I read it, it's actually said Putin on it.
All right,
Putin?
I'll keep looking.
Putin?
I think it's a
Putin?
Is that level of Call of Duty socially responsible? Maybe. Was what Sarah Palin did socially responsible? Maybe. But to draw the line that somebody saw her infographic and decided I'm going to assassinate this person, it's pretty big
see a
stretch.
target on a webpage, right? If an image on a webpage can cause people to murder, then what you're saying
then 4chan is the most dangerous place on the planet.
Yeah, you're saying that violent movies and violent video games can cause people to violence. Right. I don't believe that, so I don't believe an image on a website could cause somebody to shoot somebody.
Absolutely.
You can point a gun at somebody and pull the trigger. That's all on you.
There was a big thing in the early 90s, at least big in my community, where there was this dude who in Florida went into a tower, and much like the UT Tower, at a college campus and started shooting people, and he had a Sick of It All shirt. Sick of It All is a popular hardcore band. And
Define popular.
Well, popular within the genre. Okay.
You know
And they came under so much fire, and we were all like, "Don't be ridiculous! Music can't cause people to commit suicide or to commit murder." And but I bet all those same people.
I don't know. And when I was in the 5th grade, there was a girl that was in the 8th grade that was murdered by her boyfriend, who was in high school. He was a freshman in high school, and when the police finally caught him, because his friends ended up because his friends knew and had been there when it happened and didn't really try to cover for him. They said that all he would do is talk about Silence of the Lambs. Like at that time, that was when the movie was popular. Like he would talk about how he'd seen it like 8 times, and he would talk about how he wanted to know what it was like to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. I think that movies, music, video games can inspire somebody who is already crazy to do things.
I don't.
I mean, I think all of those things are inspirational to everybody for other reasons. You know, like we usually interpret them in a way that's nonviolent, but a violent person, I think, can be inspired by them if they're already on that trajectory.
But you can't say it was because of Silence of the Lambs. Like, if he had not seen Silence of the Lambs, maybe the John Wayne Gacy story or Helter Skelter or some other movie would have been the button he needed.
But I do think that I think they're buttons, though. I mean, I think that you have to be crazy to start. Like, because you will watch a movie and be inspired to do something creative because you're a creative person. If you're like a homicidal person, you might see something and get inspired to be.
But what are you going to do?
way.
Eliminate all buttons?
No, yeah, so you can't really control that.
He's crazy and he seeks that stuff out, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why he identifies with it, you know. And like Jeff's saying is right. I mean, if Silence of the Lambs or let's say no violent movies, no violent video games existed, then he would be a huge Genghis Khan or Adolf Hitler fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'd be back to banning books.
There would be something.
Yeah, he would be obsessed with reading about the Nazis or reading about the Holocaust or something like
But
that.
ideas can spread, you know. I mean, people will go and get a copy of like the Anarchist Cookbook or something like that because they will want those tools, and other people have gone before them and done those things. So, I don't think you can say that video games don't lead to some violence, you know, because they might. But I don't think you should stop making video games. You know, like you can't control what somebody's going to do with the inspiration.
I just think crazy people are going to be crazy regardless of the inspiration.
Right, they'll find a way.
I had the Anarchist Cookbook in high school. I didn't murder anyone. You know?
One of the coolest jobs I ever had in my life was when I was in college. I was a sexual health peer advisor.
Did you ever get laid from that?
I don't know if I got laid directly, and definitely not. I had students where they had to take a course, and I had to teach the course on methods of birth control in order to qualify to get on the pill. So it seemed awesome. But more so the other people. I mean, you just spend more time with the other peer advisors and things like that. And then I became I don't know how to put it. It's called an orientation advisor, where we'd advise incoming freshmen, which sounds super creepy, but I was a junior in college at the time. But I actually got in trouble one time because we were having a discussion about something, and we had a discussion about like if we hand out condoms on the mall, you know, the big meeting place with all the students, that there were all these statistics showing how handing out condoms doesn't, you know, increase promiscuity and all this stuff. And I was like, well, that's bullshit. If you hand out birth control and all that stuff, yeah, I think it increases promiscuity, but I think the alternatives are way worse. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so it's like you can acknowledge how something you're doing can have negative impact, but it's still better than the alternative. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to live in a world where we can't have, you know, video games and movies like Silence. I don't want to, you know, live without Silence of the Lambs because somebody might go nuts.
Because one person might go nuts, while 99.9% of the other people use it as an outlet to relax or release frustration. Like, I play Halo. Well, maybe not Halo because I'm fucking terrible and people make me mad. But like, I play a video game to decompress and relax, right? And it helps you blow off steam, not the opposite.
No, I think you guys are both right. The crazy people will be crazy regardless.
Yeah.
But I do think they can get inspired by movies and videos just as like anyone else can.
Sure.
Just in a different way.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it has to do more with maybe the specifics of the crime than, you know, than something else.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking at the time when the Sarah Palin thing was going on, when people were tweeting that, oh, look what she did, all this stuff, I was remembering back to Doom and Columbine. Because there was, for those of you who aren't aware, there was a big shooting in, was it Columbine, Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big shooting there where the kids had been playing Doom all the time. And then this kid showed up and he was a gamer too, you know what I mean? And was playing, what was he playing it so much? Some MMO?
Yeah, Earth Realms or something.
Didn't the kid
kid
from what was that one a couple of, maybe 2 years ago at the college? I can't remember. That was something state.
It was Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. He was a big Counter-Strike fan, right?
Oh, was he?
I think so. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought he was.
Yeah.
And they drew that correlation.
Well, I think if you're somebody who's interested in guns, you're going to want to play games that have guns in it. I would think.
That's why it's definitely why you seek things out, for sure. So
Yeah.
that's my take on that. Gus, thank you for letting us talk about that.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry. I couldn't find info to back you up on the quote. I see Russian press talking about it, but I don't see any specific quote from them.
I stand behind my misquote.
There was after all that fallout, I sent you a picture of this, Bernie. I don't know if you got it. It was like Bloomberg Business Week magazine had a cover story about the history of the Glock gun and how it became, quote unquote, America's favorite killing machine or something like that.
A Glock is what
Isn't that cholesterol? Honestly,
yeah, a good Big Mac. A Glock is what we use in the zombie headshot video.
Yes.
And did you hear that after the Glock is also the gun that the kid, what's his name, Loeffner?
Yeah.
Used in Arizona to shoot that congressperson. And after that happened, that sales of Glocks in Arizona quadrupled. Is
Yeah.
that right?
That was in that magazine. I read that.
That is fucking that's crazy.
it is
Yeah.
a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can look at metrics and the way that trends move, and it can be a little frightening, I mean, in that sense, when you talk about politicians saying things, it's just the ability to move people in a big mass that can. If you point people in one direction, they don't stop until they hit something. Sometimes,
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very serious way to end the podcast.
like a flash mob.
Let's all go and reflect.
Yeah, let's all have a silent, reflective lunch.
All right.
All right.
What are we gonna eat?
Oh man, there's this trailer I really want to try, and I don't know if today's the day, but it's called Biscuits and Groovy.
Where is that?
It's over.
up on North
It's pretty,
Loop. It's a
it's
long
pretty
way.
north.
Yeah.
It's like 51st and in Duval.
It sounds awesome.
Biscuits and groovy.
Why do trailer food places love puns so much?
It's like
Yeah, it's kind of
trailer food and like hair salons, right?
There's a taco truck around the corner from our office, Bernie. I don't know if we've told you about it yet. It's next to that like Red Shed Tavern. They park out over there. It's really good.
Oh god, but
Yeah,
it
we
has
ate
the
there the
worst.
other day.
It's the worst Photoshop job on the side, though. It's terrible.
Yeah, their menu could use some work.
You can see like where somebody had like accidentally used an eraser tool and just didn't notice that they cut a big part out of the image,
Oh, really? It's a big white splotch.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
or like the food will just fade out into nothing.
It's pretty awesome.
Do you hear that Mila Kunis broke up with Macaulay Culkin?
And he's already dating some super new hot chick.
Is he? Is he
Yeah.
really? Wow. How does that rate, like, in terms of, like, super hot chick dating mediocre guy? Like, where does that relationship fall? Let's play a game. You name one and I'll name one. Couples.
Super hot chick dating.
mediocre guy.
Okay, I can do that easy.
I'll start with Mila Kunis.
Eddie Furlong and that chick, Jolene
Jolene
Blaylock.
Blaylock. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Christina Hendricks and the dude who played the Snosberries guy in Super Troopers.
Oh yeah, he was in Devil.
Really?
Yeah, they're married, dude.
Wow.
Oh god.
Well, Angelina Jolie with the husband from Hackers or whatever, right?
Yeah, but
She
he
did-
was Sick Boy from...
Fucking what's her face from American Pie? The naked chick in American Pie.
Shannon Elizabeth?
Shannon
Oh,
Elizabeth
that's a good
and
one.
her old ass fat husband. Oh,
I'm going to go with Megan Fox and Brian Austin Green.
How about the chick that's dead?
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy and Simon Monjack.
Yeah, that guy was crazy.
The chick that's dead. He's dead too now, right?
Yeah,
He's,
he's dead.
he's worse than me. He was
No,
worse
no,
than
he's
mediocre.
dead?
Yeah, he died.
I think they both died
He
around the
died.
same
No, he died like
A year after.
about a year after.
Was
How
that
did
whole
he
year?
die?
Mysterious circumstances, I think.
No, wasn't it suicide?
Suicide was it?
I thought it was an OD.
Edward,
kind of OD or
Edward Furlong and Jolene Blaylock might be one of the best ones. She was the
Why-
chick on Star Trek. She played
Why
T'Pol.
isn't Jolene Blaylock more famous?
I have no. She's like a young, super hot Angelina Jolie,
She is
right?
like there was an episode of that Star Trek where they had to like take their clothes off and like
I don't
get
wanna talk about
clean. You know what I'm talking about?
they had an antimicrobial gel they had to smear on their bodies.
Jesus.
He didn't commit suicide. His cause of death was acute pneumonia and severe anemia.
Okay, there you go.
He died the same way in the same house as his wife.
Yeah, there you go.
Uh-oh. Wait,
What
mysterious.
causes those things?
Black
Yeah.
mold.
Yeah, they
The green algae.
fucking
blue algae.
algae in the water. Yeah.
Kate Blanchett and her husband.
I don't even know who her husband
I don't remember
is.
his name, but he's like some bald guy, old bald guy.
Okay, for real.
I'm
This
gonna,
is
be thinking about this all day now. Who else?
this is like our third attempt at a stop.
Oh,
It's always
And
Matthew Broderick and his husband.
Feel free to continue playing the game on your own.
Howard Stern and fucking Betho.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of like Trophy Wife.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, thanks for listening.
All right, bye.
bye.